Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Megro31. Have a nice 7-game slate. They both line up on DK and FanDuel. Early baseball today, 12:20 first pitch, not kickoff or tip off. So let's just get into it for you. So get you on your way for your day because we're pretty short on time so you can build your lineup. So first game, Arizona, Atlanta, wind blowing out 91 degrees, 12 miles per hour, great hitting environment. Zach Gallen and Strider. Gallen's been a good pitcher this year, but I think he's risky against the Braves and a smaller slate like this, and with only 7 games, so you definitely play him for maybe some leverage. And then Strider on the other side is, the most expensive. He's been very good, but with the wind blowing out and a team the quality of Arizona, I'm not sure if I want to pay up 12.6, almost 13K for him. So he's going to be second in my pay up pitchers there. Bats wise, Arizona makes one of the best leverage stacks on the slate here against Strider. We haven't seen him struggle. We have seen him dominate, and Arizona has done really well against good pitchers. So it's a good hitting environment too. So we'll just have to see. I would probably focus on the top 3, or maybe do like a wraparound thing with like Thomas and McCarthy. I just stick to the lefties. I wouldn't go full Arizona stack. I mean, maybe if you're doing 150 max, definitely, throw in whoever you want there. But I think I'd concentrate on like the top 3 at least. If it's Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, and then maybe doing a wraparound with McCarthy or Thomas, depending on where they bat. Braves, expensive. You can get to them, great. If not, I think you just play them every single day. There's all kinds of different combinations. There's cheaper guys. Ozuna had a home run yesterday after being a little bit quiet. Rosario looks like he's back after the injury. Arcia always can be productive. And then Harris makes a nice wraparound guy at the bottom at 4.2 to go with Acuna, Albies, and I'd probably Riley Olson. And D'Arno looks like he'll be catching today. So however you want to slice it, the Braves are always a great play. Next game, Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Corbin Burns and Tijon Walker. Burns was good before the break. Ended on a high note against Cincinnati, and then came back against the same Cincinnati team that was on fire before the break and absolutely shut them down. He had like 40 or 50 DK points. It was a pretty amazing game where it was just like 26 the game before. So definitely in play here against Philly. Philly definitely has some pop. 84 degrees, wind blowing in a little bit. Some of the guys have been pretty hot, like Schwarber and Stott on the team here. So it's not going to be a slam dunk for Burns, but I think he's definitely in play here. Probably one of the top pitchers in the medium range. And then Walker on the other side. Milwaukee has struggled at times too. They don't really scare me a ton, especially, Winker hasn't been the same since he's a little bit better since he's come back from the injury, but Tapia has just been a journeyman. Like he's got speed and can on base, but it's not a ton of power there. So, and Walker's been decent against some of the righty bats. So, yeah, Adames hits both okay. So I don't know. I think Milwaukee is a decent GPP stack if you think Walker's going to struggle a little bit, and then Philly would probably be one of the top leverage stacks next to Arizona here. Again, like I said, Schwarber's been hot. Harper, Stott hitting in the 5th position here has just been on fire recently. Marsh has got some opportunities with some injuries. Hall might crack the lineup too. He's got some power at 2.7. Stubbs, the catcher, you can do a nice little wraparound thing there. So I'd pretty much focus on the lefties in the stack, but I wouldn't rule out Turner or Castellanos at all. Oops, wrong button. Okay, next up, we have San Francisco and Cincinnati. This has led to some decent runs in this series here. Today, Great American Small Park, 82 degrees, so the weather looks nice. Maybe a little bit of rain towards the end, but it's only 30% chance. They should get this game in. Maybe some sprinkles. There shouldn't be anything too detrimental for them. So we have Alex Cobb, who struggled a bit, but Cincinnati offense has just not been the same since the break. They brought all these young guys up and they were absolute fire, and then they went on the All-Star break and they all came back, and it just hasn't been. When they ended up winning yesterday, and it was like 3-2, but they scored the 3 runs in like the 3rd inning, and then it was a pretty boring game after that. And it wasn't because there was great pitching out there either. So Andrew Abbott has been a decent young rookie, but the San Francisco team is, even though they've had some injuries and stuff, is starting to put together, starting to heat things up. Actually, I mean, they've got 54 wins. The Reds got 51 wins. So it's just amazing how well these two teams have done this season. So I like the bats here more than the pitchers. Cobb in the risky section, Abbott, I think, maybe in the medium section, especially on a smaller slate if you want to. Um, and the wind blowing it helps a little bit, but still, it's the dimensions of the park really are conducive for hitting, especially for power. So I just have to keep an eye on the lineup here because bat wise, JD Davis is a little banged up. He has an illness. I don't know if he'll be in the lineup, but I think Flores it will be kind of like a lock on all sites, just his pricing and righty against the lefty there. He's just been a lefty killer throughout his career. And then on the Reds side, again, you just have to see how the lineup shakes out here. De La Cruz is like super expensive, but he really hasn't done anything. Maybe today's his day against Cobb. And then when it comes down to playing Friedel and Fraley, Friedel starts against lefties and righties, but Fraley only starts against righties. So I think Fraley is more of a pinch hit risk than Friedel. So just keep that in mind if you ever have to come down to pick the two. And Friedel is like $700 cheaper also. So we'll see if CES, Christian Encarnacion Strand, who is the other phenom they've just called up that a pinch hit home run the other day. So, he does have some power and everything. So just see how the lineup is. The Reds are definitely in play here. Is probably my third favorite top stack behind Atlanta and the Mets. And San Francisco would probably be up there in the top four also. But I have them on the cheap side just because their pricing is just amazingly low. The most expensive guy is JD Davis if he's even in the lineup at 4-2. If he's not, this team is just so affordable to stack in so many different ways. So if you want to get Strider in your lineup and some Braves and some Giants, I mean, it definitely probably can work for you because there's some decent SP2 options also. San Diego and Toronto, great baseball matchup here. San Diego throws Blake Snell, Chris Bassett for the Blue Jays. Snell's been decent recently. I know it's an all-righty lineup against him, so I see a lot of sites like really pretty high on Snell today in this matchup. I put him in the risky section just because I just kind of fear the whole splits disadvantage that he has against them. So we'll see. I'm gonna have some shares of Snell, but I'm not super excited about him. I think he's more of a GPP play. Bassett on the other side, his home splits have been better than his road splits, but still against this Padres team, I think even the righties can get to him. And today, I'm calling it Jake Cronenworth home run. He has been terrible this year. Absolutely terrible. He was great last year. Like he was actually, I think he was up in like the 5-6K range at some points last year. And this year he's down to 4K. He's really struggled. And maybe it's all the other you think he'd do better with all the protection that they brought into the lineup and all the other hitters that they have to focus on besides him. Maybe it's been a distraction. I don't know. Maybe he's dealing with some injury or something, but don't know. Gut feeling, nothing scientific or statistically to back this up, but I just feel a Jake Cronenworth home run coming today, so I'm going to be playing him. Blue Jay side of it, again, I mean, you can pretty much stack whoever you want to here. I think it would make a great GPP stack here against Snell, especially with the leverage you're going to have if people use him as a pitcher. Again, it would probably be an all-righty lineup against him, except for Kiermaier, but I wouldn't play him there. So Springer said Vlad, Chapman, Mayfield, or Jansen, whatever combination of those six you want to put in there, then that's pretty much what I would play. Chicago White Sox and New York Mets. Kopech against Quintana. Not interested in either pitcher. Bat-wise, White Sox, I think, do make a decent cheap stack here against Quintana. Benintendi, it's okay, lefty on lefty. Anderson's just been broken this year. I don't have the same feeling I have with him with Cronenworth. It's not the revival of the guys that were good last year and were duds this year. I just, for some reason, I just a feeling on Cronenworth. I don't on him. But if you go to the middle of the lineup, and Robert's kind of expensive, 6K, so you need him to get a home run or two there for that price tag. But in the middle here, like Vaughn is really good against lefties. Berger is really solid against lefties. Grandal is a cheap catcher at 2.8. Remillard here at second base, outfield. Even L. So I like this makes a really nice stack, like 4 through 9, like whatever combination of those people you want. If you just leave off the top three, they're super affordable and they can definitely make a stack work here. Now it's in City Field, which is not a hitting park, and the wind is blowing in at 5 miles per hour, so that is not conducive for hitting as much, but like power wise. But I think they can still put some balls in play against Quintana. On the Mets side, love them. I think they're going to be my favorite stack on the slate because Atlanta's so expensive, and they are not. They're most expensive. One is Alonso here at 4.8, but still, like Nemo, Fam's been decent. Like him more against lefties, but I'm okay with him there. Lindor, I think, is one of my favorite plays also with the switch hitter there. McNeil, even Alvarez right, I'm fine with. Vogelbach, I think, no. Beatty, maybe if he moves up in the lineup, is in play here at 2.6. If you need a punt second or third baseman, at least Gilmore at least has, if he's in the lineup at 2K there, at least has the split advantage. So against a pretty bad pitcher who's struggling this season. So lots of Mets in play. Detroit and Kansas City here, 85 degrees, wind blowing in at 10 miles per hour. So that helps kind of neutralize bats, but I think they'll be fine. Michael Lorenzen is by far my top cheap pitcher, and even on FanDuel, I don't mind starting him as my SP1. He had 51 points the last time out, and it was against a decent team. I forget who it was, but it wasn't Kansas City. So if he can go out and just give me a second, I'll look it up quick, and put up that many points on FanDuel versus a decent team. His last game was against Seattle. So, there are some strikeouts there. And, he struggled a little bit in Colorado before that. He had like 21 points against Minnesota. He played Kansas City on June 20th, and he had quality start. He had 6 innings. He had 40 points, 7 strikeouts, only gave up 1 earned run. So, he's put up some decent numbers against some bad teams. White Sox 40, and against the White Sox again 36, against Pittsburgh 49. So I think I trust him. I think he goes 5 or 6 and can get you the quality start here. He's not a scrub pitcher. He's priced at 5.5, and I absolutely love it against this Kansas City team that's bringing up their projected lineup is a little better than it has been in some days, but they've just been like rotating their stars in and out. Like if they have, I mean, they do have some stars like Witt and Melendez and Perez there, but they're not superstars. But I think they're kind of giving them a little bit of a rest so that they they know they're out of it this year, and they don't want to risk injury, but they want to get some of these new guys in to kick the tires on. So Lorenzen definitely plays. Zach Greinke's not in play. Even against Detroit, I think they can definitely they're getting healthier with this young lineup. So I kind of like the bats there. They're probably my second favorite cheap stack. Even though I like the White Sox, I like Lorenzen or like Detroit even better stat wise. So McKinstry leading off is pretty cheap here, and then Green, Carpenter, you got some power there. Torkelson, even righty on righty. Greinke's been reverse splits at times. I'm okay with that. So anyone here up in the top 4 or 5, it definitely works for me. Kansas City, I think cheap if you think Lorenzen's going to be super popular, especially as an SP2 on DraftKings. Then if you want to stack against them, then that will give you leverage if they actually go off and score a bunch of runs there. Final game we have is Minnesota and the Seattle Mariners. Pablo Lopez and George Kirby. I think both these pitchers are definitely in play. Lopez is my favorite pitcher on slate. I know it's been like a fail a couple times this week when we've tried to take pitchers against Seattle. Like last night, it was the game was 6-3, but most of the runs were scored later on in the game, so the starting pitchers did okay. I know the night before, both starting pitchers, it was like Wu and somebody else, and it was an absolute disaster because a lot of us had them as, maybe it was Maeda. I think we both had them as like chalk, and most people, and it just didn't work out. Both teams put up a lot of runs. That was like the historic night where more runs were scored in Major League Baseball. It looked like I was looking at the box scores, and the next day it looked like it was a preseason football game or something. It was Ober and Wu that night, and Maeda was last night. So, but anyways, I'm going back to the well here. I think Pablo Lopez is good. I think Kirby is good on the other side. Bat wise, they both just be leverage stacks for me. So let's look at some builds and get you on your way for your day, because I know there's only be a couple hours between the time I get this out and you need to get your lines locked. So give me Lopez as my SP1. SP2, go stay in the mid-range, probably Burns or Kirby, Lorenzen or Walker if you need some more salary. Mets and San Francisco is the way I'm going. Alvarez, Alonso, second base, maybe McNeil if he fits in there, whoever else. If you want to take a one off, that's fine. Flores or JP Davis. I think Flores will be the most popular. JD Davis might be out due to illness. You'll have to see. Lindor, Nemo, and then whatever Giants outfielders you like fill in there. For FanDuel, Lopez, Alvarez, or Alonso. You can play the other one utility if you want to. Flores nicely plays at second base, so if JD Davis is in, you can put him in at third base. And then Lindor, Slater, Nemo, and then what other guys you would like from San Francisco or the Mets to finish off this lineup. For GPP, Lorenzen as your SP2, you can pick your SP1. I think sometimes with GPP, if I find an SP2 that's cheap that I trust, I will throw them in there. I will build my line, and then I will see where I land for pitcher. And then if I have a little bit more money, I'll maybe go up with one of the bats or go down with one of the bats to get up to a pitcher. If I'm close to a guy and I don't like the range that I land in there, that's how I usually sometimes build my GPP lineup. So catcher, I'm probably going to punt here. Probably the White Sox guy or somebody else that's really cheap here. And I'm going to target, like I said, with the hitting environments, I'm going to target a GPP Strider. So give me Marte, give me Perdomo, and give me Carroll. And then I want some San Diego. And I'm going to throw Cronenworth in there in the first base, probably. I'm not going to core them because I know it doesn't make sense logistically because of how bad he's been recently. But, he's got a good matchup against a righty. So I think today's the day that he hits home run. So I'm going to play him there. I'll let you make the choice of who you want to put there. If you want to put Walker to continue on building the Arizona stack, that's fine too. You can, if you go like Lorenzen and like Walker, it gives you plenty of salary to get all the Arizona bats in with the San Diego bats. So Machado and Soto are the two I'm going to highlight for San Diego, but you can switch up. If for some reason like Marte is not in, then you can play Kim in place of it. So San Diego and Arizona is where I'm going, probably a cheap one off at catcher. And then you'll probably have to take like a Carroll, a Thomas, or a Grisham as the final outfield spot, because I think you'll need like somebody that's sub 2K and or 3K, and I think they're all like about 2,900 for that. For GPP, a lot easier on FanDuel. Gonna take the Braves. Give me Lorenzen as my SP1. Hopefully he can get another 40 for me there at as one of the cheapest pitchers on the slate. So Olsen, that should be Albies. I don't know why I can't type sometimes. Third base, shortstop, I'll leave up to you. I'm probably going to film with Detroit. Might need to take a one-off at shortstop because there was not really a Detroit guy that I like. You can play Arcia there if you want to finish your Brave stack that way. Acuna, Green, and Carpenter, and then I went Detroit with a one-off with 4 Braves. But if you want to play, well, you have to because Lorenzen's your pitcher. So you just have to decide where if you want the one-off. So if you want to put Arcia in there, then perfectly fine. Your utility spot can be your one-off. If not, you can use third base or shortstop as your one-off. So that's what I got for you. If you have any questions, put them in the chat below. Hit me up at Megaro31 on Twitter. Appreciate all the views we've had recently. Our subscribers have jumped up pretty quickly recently, so appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, to know when these videos come out, and everybody that's been watching them and liking them and sharing them. You've all been doing a great job. Hopefully we're doing a great job helping you with this content, and you are helping us back by watching, sharing, and liking. So I appreciate the relationship that we have with you, and your comments have been good recently also, and even the constructive ones we are trying to work on and figure out and give you answers for things like that. So again, appreciate everybody who takes time to watch these videos. So I'm going to get off here because I know I need to get this up and posted so you can start building your lines. So if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Want more information at FSi DFS, and like especially because there's a 3-game night slate. So if you want to get the information on that, when we don't have videos, then we cover like Most slates during the day, unless they're like baby, like turbo ones that overlap and things like that. So go to the description of the video. You can sign up for FSi DFS. Our packages are super cheap compared to other places in the industry, and we give you our best every single day, the best in customer service, and we'll try to help you win as much money as you can. So appreciate you watching. I'm Agro 31. Should be back with Saturday's video. It might be a tight squeeze because I got 2 NASCAR videos and baseball in an early day at work that day. So between Friday night and Saturday, I'll try to get everything out. But if not, then again, go to FSi DFS, sign up for our package, and all the information is there. So thanks for watching. Good luck in your contest. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.